Tricity ingenuity brings you the new flush look President with all the energy-saving features of today's generation of electric cookers, plus unique economizer rings to cut top cooking costs. The energy-saving Tricity President cooks as good as it looks, and that means clean. Look for the free Kenwood offer.
May not be a great place to live, but it's sure going to be a fun place to visit.
Raymond, what have you done? I told you never to rent that room out to anybody.
It's all right. Now, don't worry.
You say don't worry. Do you know what you're saying? We don't know who that young woman is. She could go snooping around and get into everything.
She'll be fine. You'll see. I know she will.
But say if she isn't. Say if she goes snooping around and finds them.
A new series of Quincy begins tomorrow night at 9 on ITV.
ShopElectric, get a good deal at your electricity board shop.
Choosing a cleaner is easy. If you take a trip to your electricity board shop, you'll find our Hoover Senior, the 345 from Electrolux, and many more Hoover and Electrolux models, plus our own value-for-money Electra. So, if you want a cleaner...
ShopElectric, get a good deal at your electricity board shop. Fantastic, stupendous, gigantic, tremendous, Real Bingo, the biggest, the best.
£1 Million Bingo. You can still win Game 1. All the numbers you need are in tomorrow's Daily Star and Daily Express. Play the big one.
Bingo in your Daily Star, Daily and Sunday Express.
I was a real bear with a sore head when I had a headache. I get quite snappy with the kids. But now, thanks to Disprin, my headache is soon under control. Disprin is gentle and it dissolves before you take it. In fact, Disprin gently dissolves away the pain. Next time you're a bear with a sore head, take Disprin.
Okay, Henry, over here for petrol.
Take her up the lift to Parker, George. Quick, there's an emergency.
Call the fire station!
Make way for the fire truck. Get the dog ready, Charlie. Get the dog.
Fisher-Price are the most imaginative minds in the world.
When the boats come in, the Young's buyer watches for the pick of the nets. If he can't buy the best, he won't buy at all. Since 1805, Young's have brought you top value seafood, like the tender haddock, plaice, scampi and scallops in the golden seafood platter. From Young's, the first family of the sea.
when it's not really the end of the world.
Make a cup-a-time.
When homework's anything but child's play.
Make a cup-a-time.
In 3 smashing flavors. Pop the kettle on, and you've made creamy, smooth cup-a-time. When you want the most from being together.
Make a
New Batchelors Cup-a-Time. It works like a charm.
The most stunning stage show you are ever likely to see, spectacular and enthralling. Jesus Christ Superstar at the Theatre Royal Norwich opens on November the 17th. Retailers, it's time to visit Jones Wholesale of Northampton. Toys, giftware and other lines for the Christmas season available now.
This is Anglia. Now the news at 10:10.
Poland gets a new leader who tells Solidarity will ban all strikes. The socialists sweep to power in the Greek elections. And the day that Britain surrendered to the Americans. Good evening. Poland has a new leader tonight, and his government has already announced plans to crack down on the free trade union Solidarity. General Jaruzelski, already Prime Minister and Defence Minister, took over from Mr. Kania as leader of the ruling Communist Party this afternoon. Mr. Kania was sacked by the party's powerful Central Committee during a meeting to decide how to handle Solidarity's latest demands. The committee immediately announced tough new measures to curb Solidarity's growing power in Polish politics. A ban on strikes, renegotiations of all agreements with Solidarity, tighter government control of newspapers and broadcasting. General Jaruzelski nearly resigned 6 months ago when he failed to win a ban on strikes. Now his Central Committee is saying strikes must stop because the Polish economy is on the brink of collapse. Solidarity's leader, Mr. Lech Wałęsa, is in France, and so far the union hasn't commented on the Polish government's tough stand. We hope to have a report on that in just a moment. In the meantime, Greece tonight has a new left-wing government, the first for 50 years. The Socialist Party has swept to power, committed to strongly anti-common market and anti-NATO policies. The ruling New Democracy Party conceded defeat only 3 hours after the polls closed in today's general election. The indications are that the Socialists will get around 50% of the votes, enough to give them a strong majority. During his campaign, the Socialist leader, Mr. Papandreou, softened his original line of complete withdrawal from NATO and the common market. But the size of his majority has led to speculation that he'll now adopt a tougher attitude. The outgoing Prime Minister, Mr. George Rallis, was the close friend of the President, Mr. Karamanlis. Well, we can now go back to that story on Poland. You'll remember me saying just a moment ago that Mr. Kania has been sacked and General Jaruzelski has been reinstated as the new leader. Here's Nick Gowing.
For 3 days, the Communist Party Central Committee accused the party leadership of being ineffective and launched fierce attacks on Solidarity's growing power. Mr. Kania was accused of not being tough enough, of conceding too much to Solidarity. Then the committee forced his resignation. Tonight, Polish television news announced his departure. His replacement by Prime Minister General Jaruzelski then made it clear the party leadership intends to challenge Solidarity's power head-on. Central Committee member Marian Ojciechowski read the tough resolution which demanded Parliament suspend Solidarity's first achievement, the right to strike. He said all agreements with Solidarity, like the one signed by Lech Wałęsa a year ago, must be renegotiated. The right to work free Saturdays, a major achievement, must be suspended. The party also now expects strong political management of the mass media with full control of propaganda, a clear attempt to reverse liberalization of recent months, which gave increasing space to Solidarity at the expense of party ideology. The fact General Jaruzelski has been chosen by an overwhelming majority to replace Mr. Kania is somewhat of a surprise. For months, despite being a Moscow-trained soldier, he's been closely associated with Mr. Kania's moderate policy of cautious support for what's called here socialist renewal. But recently, while continuing to demand peaceful dialogue, the stand of General Jaruzelski toughened. as Mr. Kanya apparently became exhausted after 14 months of conflict and crisis and failed to come up with new ideas. General Jaruzelski announced tighter enforcement of law and order, military patrols, and action to revitalize industry. Only one optimistic note emerged today. The government announced it had finally agreed to Solidarity's demand for a freeze on food prices and faster action to prepare an economic reform package. Demands Solidarity had said it would back with a national warning strike if they were not met. Nick Gowing, ITN, Warsaw.
An intensive search involving hundreds of Northern Ireland police and troops has been going on at Crossmaglen near the border, a few miles from where Mr. Bernard Dunn, a chain store owner, was kidnapped on Friday. Last night, police in the Irish Republic had stopped a messenger from his family delivering a large ransom. They believe the money could have been used to buy weapons. The head of Ireland's Roman Catholic Church, Cardinal O'Fee, has condemned the kidnapping, saying it moves the society we live in frighteningly close to barbarism.
Roadblocks were increased today on all roads to and along the southern border between the Republic and Ulster, though it seemed only a delaying formality because security forces on both sides are convinced that Bernard Dunn is well hidden somewhere around Crossmaglen, just inside Ulster. It was at the Fairways Hotel on the main Dublin-Belfast road that the Dunn's family bid to hand over the £500,000 ransom was scuppered by the Irish